on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the advertisers, owners, or management of Pacific Telestations, LLC. For comments, opinions, and questions, please email Jess Lujan at jessthebuzz@gmail.com. The Buzz with Jess Lujan.
Good evening, Guam. I'm Jess Lujan. Welcome to this edition of The Buzz. Very exciting show tonight. Of course, the administrator for junglewatch.org, right? It is?
.info.
.info, of course. Tim Rohr. And situations that have transpired over the years. Of course, breaking news now. Looks like that Pope Francis is now bringing about to Guam an administrator to take over the Archdiocese of Agana, at least temporarily, until the investigation is completed. We've got I guess a press release and a video statement from the Archbishop Aparon that said it was through him, his request to Rome, to the Archbishop, that granted this administrator coming out here. Please, your thoughts on this, or this whole thing?
It would probably be very easy for me to say another lie, another big liar, surprise, surprise. But we have to. I want to appeal to the viewers of this show to consider everything that the Archbishop has done these last few weeks and continues to do. He called the mother of a dead child a liar, spreading malicious lies and calumnies and attacking the Catholic Church. He accused Roy Quintanilla. Anyway, he's been on a total attack. If he was so sure of his innocence, whatever, he would have been on the phone immediately to Rome and request an independent investigator, and he would have stepped aside. That's not what he did. He fought until the writing was on the wall that it wasn't going to work, and then he went crawling to Rome begging for cover. And so, I can't say too much more on this, but it will be proven a lie, as we have proven lie after lie. It's just staggering, even to me, who's so used to lies, to see him standing on that video, standing in front of St. Peter's, after having just met with the Pope, lying about what the Pope actually did. So this is really, really bad. The appointment of an apostolic administrator is with a sitting bishop is very rare. Sometimes it happens when a bishop dies, or like in the case of Saipan, where he retired and they didn't have a replacement. But this apostolic sede plena thing is when the bishop is alive and well, but incapacitated.
Incapacitated in that regard. He keeps the title, but all administrative duties, pretty much, you have no control of your or jurisdiction over your archdiocese anymore, right?
Right,
like
and
that?
this is part of the lie. They want to give the impression the Archbishop's still in control. I'm still the Archbishop. Okay, you have the title. It means nothing. Okay, so you're not in control. And the statement released by our friend Ed Givaldo tries to give the impression that Archbishop Hahn is only here to oversee some pastoral affairs. No, he has control over the administrative affairs, the pastoral affairs, all of the affairs, including the little boy affairs that are now hitting the news. So the Archbishop has been effectively sidelined completely. He has no say-so, no control, no nothing. Okay, he's a nobody in this diocese at this point.
Now, Tim, let me ask you this: prior to the Pope intervention, now pretty much has taken over, or pretty similar to a federal takeover at this point.
Yeah, it's a receivership. You might say.
Now, let me ask you this: could early on, as you said, if the Archbishop stepped aside, could he maybe have appointed somebody to say, hey, look, I'm bestowing upon you my powers now. I'm going to step aside and have you take care of this, so I can have at least an arm's length situation away from this these accusations. Could he have done that without Rome's intervention?
Yes, in fact, his own policy requires him to do that.
Okay.
When there's somebody that's accused, of course, it doesn't go so far as to say, well, when the archbishop's accused, what he's supposed to do. But if he was honest to his own policy, then he would have voluntarily stepped aside and perhaps asked somebody, requested. I think Rome would still have had to approve that. But yeah, it would have been all of his own volition. But for us to be asked to believe, after listening to 2 weeks of absolute poundings and threatening to sue Tim Rohr in the media, in the Umatuna this past Sunday, Tim Rohr and Associates, Tim Rohr's behind this, Tim Rohr's doing this because he wants to get a real estate commission on selling some property, threatening to sue me over and over and over. And then suddenly he's running off to Rome and giving a video message saying, well, this is all my idea, and I've asked for the Pope to help us out, and I'm stepping aside for this. It's such a radical lie. I fear for his soul at this point. I mean, we're never supposed to stop praying for the souls of even the most egregious sinners. At this point, it's the mind cannot comprehend to the depths that this man is willing to go.
Now, with this then, I mean, can we conclude from this then, if we take the Archbishop's word as the truth, okay?
Yep.
If we take that, would it be safe again to say also that the Pope has concurred and had maybe made the suggestion that he should hire a prominent firm from the U.S. to represent him in this lawsuit against, probably namely you? I think you're the forefront of this whole thing.
And first of all, I don't think they're talking to any law firm. That's another big freaking lie. Why should we believe it at all? It was just intended to try to shut me up, like I'm going to be scared of that. People come up to me and say, wow, you're so courageous, you have so much moxie and stuff like that. No, I just have the documents. I have the truth, and I would welcome a lawsuit. I could use the money. But this is all just the total bullying tactics that we've seen all along from this man, even before I started making it public. He's been a bully from the beginning. He thought he could get away with it. And now he's not getting away with it. He's scampering around like all bullies do, like little sniveling cowards, and hiding behind. Again, you hear him on the video saying the attack on the Catholic Church. Pray for me and our Catholic Church. Well, I'm sorry. We're not going to let you get away with that, Archbishop, if that's what you even are. You don't get to hide behind our Catholic Church. We are the Catholic. It's our church too.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was a mass again last week regarding prayers for the victim and the accused as well. And Father Mike basically said we got to pray for the Archbishop. We got to pray for the victim as well. I mean, that's what one does, right? I'm kind of taken aback that the Archbishop is only asking people to pray for him.
There you go.
For him and not for these alleged victims, because there are two folks here. And if what he's saying is correct, then these alleged victims need prayers just as much, if not more.
This is the staggering thing, But for him to actually ask for prayers for even alleged victims is to fly in the face of him calling them liars. So he can't do it. And all he can do is pray for me, me. At least I realize the priests are in a catch-22. I'm probably glad that I didn't become a priest, because I'd been kicked out by now. But at least they're praying for the victims. At least there's maybe not specifically the victims that have come forward, but all victims of sexual abuse. But of course, I don't think there's any question as to we're praying for those guys that came up, because even if it wasn't true what they're saying, which is absolutely impossible, which we shall see, the fact is that. Well, then maybe we could pray for them so they tell the truth. Whatever. That there's no prayers for them at all. I'm from the bishop anyway. But it's I don't know what else I can say that to back up the victims. I've been working with these people for years. Okay, now the Doris lady I didn't know, but the Roy and the other ones and we're going to hear about. I've seen and I've heard, you know, it's not just me, but you wouldn't get an attorney of the level of David Lujan to take on some case he didn't think he could win.
Now here's the thing, because the archdiocese now says that you know, I mean, they could be, based on what they're saying, based on what they said regarding the mother of this deceased, who basically told her before his when he was on his deathbed, and Mr. Quintanilla, basically. So whether there's 1, 2, 3, or 10 more that come out, the archdiocese, I'm sure, has their talking points, in the sense that you were the one that was instrumental in crafting this whole thing. And being, you know, I'm going, what is there to gain from the mother whose son died, or, you know, but I'm sure the talking points will be the same, that you were the instigator of this, and coerced, I guess, or whatever it may be, you know, again, to come out. You got such power.
They have to stay on that story, because they just need to discredit me, and then if they discredit me, they can discredit everything. I have been driving this the whole time, of course. I've been aiming exactly at the Archbishop and exactly at the people that basically puppet him, the Generinis and Adrian and Pius and all these, you know, the evil trio, because I know what they're up to. I wasn't aiming at the sexual abuse stuff. That came up, as I've explained several times. I first heard it, I mean, I heard the stories for years, but I first heard it on the radio, and then somebody put the person in touch with me. Actually, the 2 victims that have come forward so far, I didn't know them. I didn't seek them out. They didn't seek me out. They came through other channels. Okay, I've been working with some other people, which we haven't heard from yet. But when I stumbled into I didn't stumble into it. It was just a natural. It was a natural, you know, reaction to exposing, you know, the evils of this. What's going on here? That this would come out. So.
Tim, I got to take a quick break, and we'll continue when we return. Be right back.